inspire, empower, grab your girls and soar a little higher. Unlock the fire in you, 'cause real women don't bitch, no. Real women don't, 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 real women don't bitch.
Hey, thank you for joining me on the Real Women Don't Bitch podcast. This is your proud host, August Crenshaw, aka Mrs. Raw, Real, and Relentless. I am the #1 advanced mental conditioning specialist for entrepreneurs because building mental muscle is necessary in order to implement successful business strategies. This show has been created for the woman who is not excuse-driven and needs help building a profitable business. I will be interviewing women from various fields who are willing to break the silence on struggles that specifically affect female entrepreneurs. Welcome to a show where I and guest speakers from time to time share our methods that help us beast our business no matter what is going on in our lives. Whether you are an online or brick and mortar business owner, this show is for you. We will hit every angle, personal, professional, and spiritual. Why? Because on any given day, you get hit with shit from a scenario involving one, more, or perhaps all of the above. It all impacts you and your mindset towards your business. I have made it my personal mission to provide a space where we dive deep into the BS we face on a day-to-day basis. All right, you guys, welcome back. How many of you were here with us last Friday? Samoa's with us. She's in the house. We've been talking about creating branded websites that sell. This is part 2. So if you are just joining us for the first time on this podcast, well, I want you to go back to the very first podcast and listen to all of them. LOL, seriously, I definitely want you to go back to the beginning and listen to part 1 for this, because we're building up to something. You know, there isn't just one thing that you need to have a excellent website and one that's actually going to function and make you money. And there are plenty of parts, plenty of moving parts. And I want you to be able to get all of that. So welcome back again, Samoa. Yay.
Hi.
She did kind of a lazy spirit fingers thing, you know. Oh, my YouTubers are going to be like, you are so freaking funny, August. If you don't think I'm funny, I got a problem with that, because there's an inner comedian in me. But nevertheless, let's get busy. So we talked about confidence, you know, and a person like really knowing themselves. And that was like the prerequisite to even be able to establish a website. So now you get confident. You know who you are, you know what you do, you know how to translate that, you know, into your website. Now we got this thing about expression. So confidence and expression running a very fine line of being the same thing, but they're not. And I know that this is another area with you and your clients where it makes or breaks the ease of you developing a website for them. I just want you to go ahead and take over. Start directing the conversation and let's dig in.
Well, the biggest thing I told you guys that last episode, I told you guys that confidence was the core of a branded website that sells. Well, expression is what comes out of that core. It's like we worked on the inner parts and all that stuff, and the expression is the outer part. It's how you position yourself and how you express yourself and what you show and what you don't show. And what I realize with a lot of my clients is they tend to express themselves the way they think they're supposed to. You know, they're like, I need to look professional. I need to look like this. I had a recent client, actually. We're working on her website. It's actually about to launch in a couple of weeks. And she's like agonizing over the name of her opt-in. Like that's the main, she's like, I don't know what to call it. She's a boss. She's a beast. She's like, I don't know what to call it. And she has this long ass complicated name. And I'm like, I don't like it. And she goes, well, what do you think I should call it? And like, she's like a life coach. So she's all about not, instead of complaining about doing shit, just do it, like stuff like that. And she's like, she hates people who bitch about things. And those were her exact words to me when we first started talking. I was like, why don't you just say, don't bitch about it, just do it? Like, that's a great opt-in name. And she was like, ooh, I like that. But then she was like, oh, but I don't know. You know, I don't know if my audience is gonna do this and they're gonna do that. And I'm like, but you said, like, you, with me, you're completely comfortable with expressing yourself and being who you are, but you're not going to do that on your website with your content and the way that it's expressing you because you're afraid of what other people are going to think. So the biggest thing with the expression, even if you're confident and you're comfortable with yourself and who you are, a lot of people, when it comes to their business, they don't want to express themselves the way that they want to, simply because they're afraid it's going to lose them sales.
Ouch. Now, you know, because of the way that I work and what I do, you know how I feel about that. Thus, that's why we are on the Real Women Don't Bitch podcast. You know what I'm saying? Because that is something that you have to do. You have to get comfortable being in your own skin and expressing yourself the way that you do. And I know that for me, and I've told this story before, but just briefly, that was part of my issue. I finally had gotten away from believing all of the stereotypes and the norms, you know, for church and stuff like that. But when I look at my old live videos, I used to come on and I used to be like, you know, you got to fight for what you believe in. And if you really want this, you need to go all in and you need to do it. And you know, that's me. That's how I felt. But that's not really how August talks. August is like, look, do you really want this or not? Because at some point, you're going to have to make a decision. And all of this stuff that you're whining about, ain't nobody saying what happened to you isn't real. But whining, bitching, complaining, doing these things, it's not going to change your circumstance. So now what? That's my persona. That's how I am. And that's what people like. Me being like, you know, you just really, you need to do this. It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to pull people, and people get stuck in this space. And I love how you brought up professional, you know, that stereotype with that. You'll be professional enough not to offend the people who are professional, who don't plan on working with you, but you won't be brash enough to hit some nerves to attract the people that want to work with you. And so in trying to please everyone, you actually appeal to no one.
Exactly. Oh my God, yes, that's exactly what I wanted to say. Because it's like, you're here and you're thinking about everybody else, and the truth is, not everyone is going to like you. If you think about it, you don't like everybody. So in the same way, not everyone is going to like you. And that's something that I had to learn, and a lot of my clients have to learn, no matter how old they are. And it's just be yourself, because people are going to hate you anyways. But the great thing is, people are going to love you too, and those are going to be your people. I had a meeting with someone last night, and I forgot what she said, but she said something, and then I was like, well, what? She's like, I wanted to do this, my website like this and like that and like that, but nobody else in my industry does it like this. And I exactly. She's like, no one else in my industry does it like this, and I'm not sure how my audience is going to respond to it, because a lot of people may not like it. And I was like, so you said a lot of people may not like it? And she said, yes. I'm like, so some people are gonna like it? And she was like, well, yeah. And I'm like, so why does it matter? Somebody's going to like it. Somebody's always going to like you. Like, it doesn't matter how horrible you think you are, you're magical, you're amazing. And it's that one thing that's going to make you stand out, that you have to offer, that will help people see the real you, and how, like, by expressing that true, pure version of you, more people will be attracted to you.
You know, I hate to bring this up. I'm like going to go, it's still in alignment with what we're talking about, but there's this guy, and he calls himself the cussing pastor. And I watched his video, and I'm going to be honest, you know, I personally couldn't just watch him and I couldn't go to church and be like, I think I want to go to church and listen to the cussing pastor. I'm not going to dog him for what he does, but that man has a lot of people that follow him and that absolutely adore him. But then you have other pastors that are out here that are like TD Jakes. And there are a lot of people that love them some TD Jakes. but he's been shamed, he's been hated on, and he's been, people have said all kinds of things about him. It doesn't make a difference, whether we're talking about being an online business owner, whether we're talking about being a pastor, a clothing designer, it doesn't make a difference. You're not going to appeal to everyone. Like Old Navy. I know for a fact there are a lot of people who love Old Navy. I don't like Old Navy. Look at my hair. I need hot purples. They go to the dull and the pastel colors. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with Old Navy. It just means that it's not what I like. It's like it's CVS and Walmart. I mean, CVS versus Walgreens. Walgreens has this like very bland, like you're coming into a clinic-like feel. CVS, when they branded themselves, they specifically thought about the kind of woman that would come into their store. That's why their shelves are low. Walgreens always had these like really ultra high shelvings, and women, most who are, moms and little kids are down here and reaching up high. CVS was like, no, let's think about the average woman. We want things at eye level where they can easily see them. They have colors and stuff in there that it pops because they want the woman to feel a certain kind of way when they come into the store. Branding, marketing, all of it is intentional. And when the little people, us, and I say that meaning that we don't have big established businesses like that, understand that this is a part of the process. How you express yourself is important, and so this is great. But back to I went a couple of different ways. I do know how I do that sometimes because I keep having these brainstorms, but back to the whole essence of professional. What is professional? Professional is what it means to you and your business. Now, if you're an attorney and you busting up in the courtroom, you like, fuck this, Your Honor, you're going to have a hard time. However, but if you're advocating for someone and you're doing something and you're speaking to them, how you speak to them is based on how they need to hear it and they need to receive it. And it's professional is how you treat your clients. Professional is, do you give them the wow factor? Professional is, are you on time? There are some foundational things to being professional, but expression cannot be thrown into the professional box.
God, yes! Yes! That's exactly what I was, oh my God, yes. And that's the thing, because I'm going to admit I was one of the people because comparison is like the comparison game is real. It's so real. Look at other people in your industry, especially the successful ones, and you're like, this is how they express themselves. So that's how they got their clients. And what you don't realize is these people have to go through that whole confidence thing we talked about to really finding themselves and then being comfortable enough to express who they are truly. So if you shape your brand after those people who are already successful, you're just going to look like a copycat. And then the next thing is that people will feel it. They're going to smell it from a mile away and they're not going to be attracted to you. Like they know when you're not being yourself because you're uncomfortable and you can tell.
Absolutely.
And I would say that was me at the beginning because if you would go through my website, I talked about it before, like it was really professional copy and really nice words and all that shit. But I'm a sassy.
Yeah.
I'm a sassy, high energy, like super excited girl. Like I'm like a girl and a woman all mixed in one. I don't even know how to describe myself. So my website, while pretty and my copy, while nice, wasn't attracting the exact people that I wanted to attract simply because I wasn't expressing myself the way I wanted to because I thought it was wrong. I thought that I wouldn't get any clients. I would look at other people's websites, other designers' websites, and I'm like, oh, this is how they express themselves, and they're successful. So I'm just going to look at their copy and model it after mine. I'm going to look at their design and their layout and model it after theirs. Like, I won't copy it, but I'm just going to model it so that I can have this certain type of client. And the thing is, what I realized is the one thing that made me stand out and would attract my soul ideal client was the one I was suppressing so I could be like these other people. And once I realized that, like I really thought about that and I realized that and I chose to express myself fully with my website, with my branding, with my colors. I've wanted to change my branding colors to more colors for a whole year. And I didn't do it because I was like, that's too confusing. You know, that goes against all the rules. It's not going to attract the right people. Because I was looking at all these other successful designers who had like 3 colors in their color palette, very muted colors, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm just going to have like 1 or 2 colors with white and gray and whatnot. And then I was like, fuck this. Like, I hate my website. Everybody says it's pretty, but I hate it. I hate my logo. And so I was like, I changed my logo. I changed my website to brighter colors, more fun colors, because it represents my personality and who I am.
Absolutely.
Started attracting, like, I'm not just attracting clients, but I'm attracting connections who are just more high vibe, more to my level, and people I can vibe with. And I'm attracting clients who actually love my designs already. So they're not looking for muted, designs.
Exactly.
They're bold, bright, happy designs. So.
And that's your personality.
Exactly.
Your personality is bold and bright and happy. And the thing about it is, like me, I'm a high energy person. And so I don't want to come to you and be like, okay, so Samoa, do you think you can help me with designing this? You're like, yes, so what do you want? No, I want to feel something, when I'm doing what I'm doing. And so I know that that's what I want. But yeah, you have attracted all kinds of stuff. And I love to, and I did this the last segment, and I'm going to use it again. Here it is. You're young. You're a young woman. You haven't even hit 21 yet. I have to sneak you into the club, like level type shit. And here it is. You have people that are willing to spend 4 figures with you to have their websites done because they are attracted to who you are. Your confidence exudes, your expression exudes. And so I think about all of these women who have spent their time watching watching their mannerisms around certain people, because the average person that does listen to me is around 35, 40-ish. And they finally had this epiphany that they should do something different with their life and they want to expand their business. And here it is. They're sitting here trying to do the very thing that you're telling them not to do. They don't understand that they are caught within inside of an employee mentality that says, this is the way that this is supposed to be. This is how I have to do it. No, becoming an entrepreneur is about breaking out of that cage. It's about saying that there actually are no rules. I get to do this the way that I want to do it. And that freedom, you want that. I don't want to go into a session and be like, okay, so I'm going to go into this session today. And, I'm working with this attorney and, she's just really, okay, so yeah, how are you? Let's talk about what we have for your plans today. I mean, just even having to get my disposition together, it feels icky, just with me even thinking about it. I want to be able to go into the session and be like, all right, so what's good? What are we working on today? I'm super effective. I don't have a client that's stuck with me and says like, maybe if August just, was a little bit more articulate and she was a little bit more, persnickety about the word she chose, then I would probably be able to understand her better. I would probably have better results if, I really wish that she would tone down that hair color because it's really hard for me to focus, when we're in our sessions. Nobody's doing that. What people are doing is they're looking at me and they're saying, damn, man. She has her hair shaved off. This is crazy. She's got this purple ass hair, but she's fucking killing it. It gives people hope, that. So can I be me? Can I do me and still make money? It's giving people the permission to say it's okay. It's okay to be you. And you brought it up in the last segment. You said unfortunately with women, we're too hard on each other. We don't celebrate. We don't congratulate. We're always telling ourselves how to be more ladylike, how to be a better mom, how to be a better this. How about just continue to be a better you?
Oh my God. Yes. And that just made me think about like when you're saying about being persnickety and having a good choice of words. Because of the way I present myself online, there was a potential client who messaged me. And she said she went through my portfolio and she saw these stilettos and she loves them. She's like, oh my God, it was perfect. It made me think of my favorite song. And I'm like, because I'm not like all business and like, oh, here's how I help you and blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, what's your favorite song? And she starts singing. She's like, hey, little bitch, you can't fuck with me if you want. And I was like, are you serious? these are the types of people I'm attracting because I'm literally just being myself. And this is
Yes.
like, I would have never assumed that because she's like a 40-something-year-old woman, 40-something-year-old blonde white woman. And she comes to me and she says that. And I was like, did she get the wrong person? Like, did she send this to the wrong person? And I realized that just by me being myself, and she looked at my live videos and she's seen how I act and how I talk to people and how casual I am. So she was okay with coming in and just being, and she knew I would accept that. And so it's like when you express yourself to your full power, it gives other people the permission to do the same, and then they'll also feel more comfortable with you. And the thing is, when people feel comfortable with you, they buy from you. It's that simple. They'd rather buy from someone who feels like their best friend or their sister or their mother than from a stranger who seems like they have the stick up their ass, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and I feel you 100%. So let me ask you a question. So this is all about being authentic. We've been really talking about this, truly expressing yourself the way that you are. What's one thing that you do with your clients to kind of help open them up? I mean, I don't know, it's like a journaling exercise, or they're like, you don't have to, like, of course, disclose all of your secrets, but how do you kind of guide people down this path to check themselves and say, you know what, you're being rigid and professional, you're not being you?
I honestly just tell them. The way that I start before every design is it's usually a 90-minute session, and we just talk. Like, I have specific questions that I ask them, obviously, to guide the conversation, but it's just me listening to them. And I have a gift where as soon as I meet someone, I already kind of get a vibe of who they are. And so I know when they're trying to follow the rules and where they're like hesitating on being themselves, and when they're actually being themselves and stepping into that full power. So like yesterday, I had one of those 90-minute sessions, and that same lady, I was talking to her, and at first she was kind of hesitant. She was like, I don't know. And every time she said anything that put herself down, I checked her. Every time she would say something that seemed, she would want to say something else, some another way, but she was trying to like fit it into a box. I checked her. I was like, what are you trying to express? So it's really a conversation where I work to dig all of that out, dig what's really inside out, so that we know exactly how to express it on their website. So they may say, I am a life coach and I help business. I help people have a better life. And I'm like, but what do you really want to do? Like, what is that specific thing you really want to do? So it's really just finding the questions to really dig deep into them and like just letting them talk. Because when you let people talk and you just listen to them, you really start hearing who they are and what they want to do and what their dreams are. And I think that's beautiful.
Oh, no, absolutely. And I love that you're doing this. And this is the power of coaching and working with somebody, because it's a natural mechanism in us to second guess ourselves. It's not necessarily, and so when we say second guessing, sometimes people can have a negative connotation, meaning that you're like doubting yourself. But it's like you're trying to do a quality assurance check is what you're really trying to do. You're trying to say, okay, I said this, and let me write my list down. I need to do these things. And then it's like, but wait a minute. Okay, but do I need to say this way? Should I do this way? Because you're trying to do a good job. And you don't understand that every time you do that, you're restricting something, you're shutting it down, when somebody else is just allowing you to get in that zone, and to just speak. Then bam, there you go. I know I've had people do assignments before, and I'll ask them questions and they'll be like, well, I don't like journaling, and I'm like, well, everybody don't have to journal, but I need you to do something, where you can freely express yourself. And so why don't you do whatever you got to do to get into that moment, whatever that question is that you have to answer, think about it, think about that moment when it happened, and then just hit record. Voice record yourself so that you can hear yourself, how you speak, how you think, how you feel, how you operate, until you get to that point where you're just very comfortable doing it. I love this segment. I'm thinking this is funny. So we're talking about expression, you guys. This is still very much related to your website. So we're going to begin to kind of segue and talk a little bit more about the websites. But I want to share this story about something I did. And I don't know if you saw it because I don't know if you were in the group this time, but I had this Facebook group. And I had this policy where you had to come in, you had to introduce yourself, you had to engage for a specific amount of time before you could promote. And so there was this woman, she came in and she was like, well, I haven't checked with August yet. I'm not sure if this is okay, but this is who I am and this is what I do. And I want to take you through one of these sessions. I want to take you through this process and, tell me what you guys think about it. And I'm like, wait a minute. So you've already said you didn't check with me. So you should have checked with me first. Then she went through her process. So you're promoting, you're not engaging, you're not interacting. And for 2 seconds, literally, every once in a while, I still have to police myself for 2 seconds. I stifled myself, and I'm going to show you guys why. So I came into the group because everybody's used to me regulating the culture of my Facebook groups. They are like insanely fun. They are always high energy, a lot of activity, but it's not a spam space. But I still encourage entrepreneurs to promote themselves. And so I got on a live video and I was like, okay, such and such. So we need to talk about what you did when you came into the live video and you started talking when you did 1, 2, and 3. And then out of nowhere, it clicked. I said, wait a minute. I said, I got to stop myself. I said, here's the problem. We're just going to say her name was Mary. I said, Mary, here's the issue. Right now, I'm taking my time and I'm trying to talk to you in a very polite manner because I see all that gray hair on your head. And I see you. This was an older woman who was in my group, and you make me think of my grandmother. And so my brain automatically wants to be wired to speak to you in a very respectful tone. But you know what? This isn't my grandma's house. This is my place of business. And we're talking about how you operate and what the culture is like here. As a matter of fact, because you remind me of my grandmother, that means I'm going to hold you to a higher expectation. Because if I was the kid and I put my hand in the cookie jar, you would be checking me and saying, why did you sneak and do it? So why did you sneak and promo yourself on the slide? I'm going to need you to come back into this group and apologize for your behavior, because when these words came out of your mouth, August hasn't approved it yet. Hopefully it'll be okay. You should have operated in decency and in order, and you should have asked me first. So you got 2 choices. Be mad at me and say, fuck it, and leave the group, or just own up to the fact that we all make mistakes. You were a little overzealous. Apologize. Don't do it again. It's a growing pain, but this is the type of shit you shouldn't do online so that you're not spammy. And you can stay in this group and you can continue to learn how to run your business effectively. And you want to know what she did? She came in and she did a video and she apologized. She came in and did a video and apologized and said that she understood from being in corporate America how important it is to protect the culture of an organization. And she admired me because I stood my ground. See, that kind of shit right there, that's the kind of thing that the average person would not do, because you're worried about being professional. You're worried about pleasing people. What I was worried about is the safety of the people that were in my group, the entrepreneurs that I was serving. So if you can't express yourself like that, it's going to be hard for you to get Samoa anything to help her express who you are on your website. You need to be authentic no matter who is in the room. Gary Vee and people like that, he's not looking to see if there's a 75-year-old gray-haired man in there. He's sitting there, he'll say, 99% of you aren't going to do shit with what I'm talking about. He's not like, you aren't going to do stuff with what I'm talking about. He's his authentic self. So yes, get the confidence up. Yes, express yourself. You got to do all of these wonderful things in order for it to translate into your website. But it's got to be a part of your being. And if it's not there, then that's where you come in with the coaching to help people express themselves. So we've kind of just been all over the place, even though it's been connecting the dots. What are you thinking and what do you want to tell people so we can kind of, at least go back towards the web? It's all connected, but go back towards the website thing.
So the way that this all connects is, so you've gotten that confidence in who you are. You've gotten the fear of expressing yourself. Once you change that mindset and you really think that it's okay to both attract and repel people, which is the biggest thing. It's like, I think a lot of people are afraid of repelling certain people. They're like, I need as many people in my business. I need as many clients or customers as possible. And they don't realize that, especially if you're getting clients and you're a service-based business, you definitely want to repel certain types of people, which is something I learned the hard way. So You want to repel certain types of people so that you're attracting the right people. And that's how your website helps you, because you want something, because in that way, your website basically saves you a lot of time. Like, once I created my website and I just didn't give a fuck about anything, like I was just like, this is me, this is what I do, this is how I do it, and I just put it there, I got so many less, I got way less messages and questions and all that good stuff. And at first, because I'm so used to all of that traffic and all of that interaction coming in, I thought there was something wrong. But then I realized what I really put myself in a position to do is just, I only spent time with people who were ready to invest in me, who saw my value, who I could actually help. So that's where expressing yourself authentically on your site helps. It helps you save so much time and energy and doubt. Because when you don't have a website that filters through the people, so your website is open to everybody, and everybody needs to come to you, you get excited. A potential client messages you and you get excited and you're like, oh my God, yes, I got a new potential client. And then once you do the digging and you start talking to them, you realize that they're not the right client for you. And then your energy goes down. You're like, ah, damn it. You got excited for no reason. So then the next client comes and they may be the perfect client for you, but you're like, oh, the last client wasn't that great, so this one probably won't get my hopes up. And that's where your energy goes down. So your website acts as a shield. It acts as a form of protection because you're truly expressing yourself on it. So then it just, everybody, all the haters, all the people who aren't serious about working with you, all of those people aren't going to even try to talk to you because they've already been repelled. Like the shield went bam and they were like, okay, not going to this person. And that's that. So that is the main way that expressing yourself fully through your website helps you a lot. So you could have a basic website, a basic template. You could have something super basic, but you're going to attract basic people. You're going to attract all types of people to you, and you're going to waste a ton of time. But if you have something that's specific, you're more likely to interact with the people that are like perfect for you.
Absolutely. So if a person hasn't been expressing themselves and now they have this epiphany that here I am, what kind of advice do you have to give to them so that they don't feel like, oh my God, I'm going to look bad because now I'm totally switching everything over again? You know, these are the kind of things that people will be thinking. They end up having the next level of doubt. Well, if I just revamp and do this is going to look awful. How do you walk them through that? What kind of advice do you have to give?
Don't give a fuck. I'm sorry. Honestly. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's what I realized, because I did have to revamp myself because I had to find out who I was in the first place because I wasn't doing that before. So from my own personal experience, what I realized is the people that matter don't care.
They're going to be excited.
Yeah, they're going to be excited. They're going to be like, oh, like, because even when you're not expressing yourself fully, you have slip-ups. You have slip-ups where you're actually yourself. So those people have already kind of picked up when you're being yourself and when you're not. And they may not be fully repelled because they like it when you're yourself. They like that energy. So they're like, I'm going to stick around. So when you actually fully step into yourself, they're excited.
Yes.
They're like, yes, oh my God, I'm so happy. And they're happy for you. And they just want to know more about you. They want to learn more and they want to see all of that stuff. So my advice to you is don't hesitate because you're afraid of what people are going to say or what people are going to think, because those who count don't matter and those who matter don't count. So
absolutely.
That simple.
You know what I thought about? I thought about those shows when people would take their friends onto the makeover show. And they went from being like, oh God, just, hair all over the place, big baggy clothes, to like this sexy mamacita, with the makeup and the hair and the little high waist belt on and just like looking super duper fly, high heels and all of that. So in other words, just take the nasty plunge and just freaking do it, do it because people are waiting on you to show up anyway. A lot of people have a tendency, no matter how confident you are, I'm still brought to tears by somebody saying, August, this is what I see in you. This is how you make me feel. People always see more than what you see. Even when you know that you're a total badass, people see more, and they want to see more. They want you to come out. So just to ask a more technical question, since we're talking so much about expression, how does expressing yourself translate into a visual brand?
So basically, I talk a lot about translating your vision to your visual, and that's the thing. It actually turns out really technical, because certain people, like, let's say for some people I'll use horizontal lines in their design, and for some people I'll use vertical lines. Wait, horizontal, vertical.
But look, for the people that see it on YouTube, she don't know. No, okay.
Anyway, so yeah, horizontal and vertical lines, and that has to do with the person's personality. So somebody with horizontal, for this is just an example. So somebody with horizontal lines is usually someone who has a lot of balance. This is someone that you can lean on, and a vertical line person is someone you can lean on. Like, it all has different meaning, and it's all about psychology. It translates differently to different people. I sometimes call myself a scientist because I'm a visual psychologist, okay? Because when you say, like, for example, with your summit, August, you were saying you want to do the growth thing, and that's what I was like, the first thing that popped into my mind was trees. I was like, people associate trees with growth. So it's all about society and culture and psychology that goes into translating this vision that you have. You're like, this is how I want people to feel. When I'm talking to my clients, I'm not like, oh, okay, so what do you want for your design? What colors do you want? What shapes do you like? Like, I want to know what they don't like, what to avoid, obviously, and what ideas they may have. But the main questions I ask them is, how do you want to feel about your brand? How do you want people to feel about it? How do you want to express yourself? Like, I ask them about feelings and all that good stuff, because that is how you turn that vision into your visual brand. So like, that's why I recommend, when you're actually looking to level up, you work with somebody who's already studied this and who's already a professional at that, simply because they make the connection this quickly, because they already know your audience. They already know how they think. So when you just say, I want people to feel like this, they're already, okay, so vertical lines, no circles, squares. They already know what shapes, what patterns, what colors, all of that good stuff to use, because they know the psychology of it all.
Now, seeing right there, you went somewhere that was like totally deep. Yeah. And I know, because we talked about it before, when you did like the pyramids on the floor with the two ladies, when they were sitting down sipping tea, when you did that for me. So yeah, no, I totally get it. And the thing about it is that I personally don't have time to think like that. And it's amazing how you do that. You know, you're not necessarily giving away, you're telling people, I literally put these lines this way, but you understand how to put it together. And you know that it's going to have some type of psychological effect on the person that you're even designing for, let alone the people that you're working to attract to help them attract on their website. So like, brava. I love that. We all have those deep things. That's not my deep side. I get deep with the mindset and other things. But yes, so no, that's awesome. Everybody that's listening, I hope you're like really, truly getting this. And so look back at your website. Go back and read it. You know, pretend like you are an onlooker. What would you think if you read your website and you saw what you wrote on it? Do you like it? Do you think it's okay? Just be real with yourself. If you're constantly saying what you think somebody would feel about it, you probably want to talk to Samoa. You know, if you took the whole professional lens off, don't look through it with professional eyes and you read through it, ask yourself, would I really say that? If you really wouldn't say something that way, you probably need to talk to Samoa. I mean, literally, it's literally just that serious. So we're going to go ahead and start kind of wrapping things up. This was really, really good. So confidence is the core. You got to be confident in what you're doing. And then you have to graduate to the next level of expression. And after doing all of this, we're going to go into part 3. You guys definitely want to come back, because now we got to talk about the connection. You know, you got all of this stuff. You're putting it out there, but there are still some other rules that you need to know, tricks of the trade, to understand how, once you got all of this stuff and you're unbottled and you're uncaged, to connect to people. So I want you to come back next Friday for part 3, because this is off the chain. So go to the website. All of the episodes are there. Go to the featured speaker tab. Make sure you click the links for as long as they're available and to connect with her. We're recording this now. We don't know where she stands. She told you guys when we started this, she only has 6 slots available. Hey, by the time you get to this recording, there may be none, but I encourage you to still reach out to her and connect with her, follow her on Facebook, Pinterest, get a chance to like really see who she is so you can see what we've been talking about being modeled. I don't want to close this. I want to, you got some last words. You got some things that you want to say to the audience before we wrap it up?
Well, I just wanted to say thank you for listening, first of all. And I also wanted to say that August is right. I do have 7. I normally only have 7 slots open for each quarter. And now currently while we're recording, I have 6. But that may change by the time this episode airs and I may have less or none. But always reach out to me. Fill out your client profile, ask me any questions. If you go on my website, there's a little chat box at the bottom right. You can literally just click it and send me a message. If I don't answer at the moment, just leave your email and I'll get back to you. So if you do all of that, I always reach out, and I'm open to answering any questions that my website doesn't already answer to help you guys out. So yeah, inkedbysimo.com. You know it. You know where to click it. And I will see you guys later.
All right. So we are outie. We are outie. And we'll see you next week. You guys will have plenty of me in between now and then, but Samoa and I will be back next week. Deuces.
Bye, guys.
Thank you for joining me today. Remember to cultivate a mindset that is biased towards taking action. No bitching, whining, or complaining. Here, our mantra is, real women don't bitch, we get shit done. See you next week as I continue to bring you what you need to keep your head in the game and beast your business. Don't forget to hit subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. Would you like a specific topic covered? Have a question you would like answered live? Then head on over to realwomendon'tbitchpodcast.com. Subscribe to my email list, hit me up, and I got you. Interested in being a guest speaker? You walk the walk? Then you can sign up on the website too. This is your #1 advanced mental conditioning specialist for entrepreneurs, Mrs. Raw, Real, and Relentless. Signing out. Deuces.
Inspire, empower, grab your girls and soar a little higher. Unlock the fire in you.